Hello my friend, this is how I keep track of over 8,000 unique clothing items for my online store. By staying organized, I can ship quickly and keep my customers happy. Let's roll. I use a numbered system based on time. Item number 1 is the oldest because I added it first, and item number 8,000 is the newest because I added it last. Tracking by time makes it easy to know when items were listed and helps me to avoid stale stock. So the system actually starts when I take photos of each item. I use these numbered stickers along with the size tag to tell me exactly where the item is in the system. You don't actually need these stickers, you can handwrite it or you can print out the numbers on a piece of paper. When I first started, that's what worked for me. The last photo shows the size tag and the sticker together. The sticker number, called a SKU code, tells me exactly where the item is stored, like a treasure map to the right spot. After the photos are all done, what I'm doing is folding the t-shirt neatly so that the size tag is still showing. Like so. Then I'm wrapping the item up, sealing the bag, and putting a number sticker that we saw in our size tag at the top left of the item. So doing it this way keeps the item safe, makes it look professional, and it also ensures that I can see the size tag without unwrapping it later if needed. Once all the photos are complete and the pick bins are full of items, I'm then putting the pick bins away on the shelves. So these shelving units I got from a local hardware store, and I've just adjusted each individual shelf on each unit to the height of my pick bins. I've tried to do this as I'm assembling each shelf unit because trying to do it after the fact is not fun. In terms of the pick bins themselves, I measured the shelving units first to work out how many would fit horizontally on each shelf. The design of the pick bins I did myself. So here's one of the first pick bins that I made. The story is I went to a local KFC and asked them to save the boxes that the chips come in. Reason being the cardboard dexterity is solid on those boxes and they were big enough that I could cut them up and then make my own pick bins. So this was actually made out of a leftover chip box, cut into a pattern and then taped up manually. The measurements for the pick bins suit my shelves exactly because I measured the shelves first before making the pick bins. I did this at the very start because I didn't really have the money yet to buy the pick bins in bulk. And then here is a professional one. So I now purchase these in bulk lots of 100 from a cardboard company and they cost me around $4 each to get made locally. If I were to redesign these again, I would probably just remove this lip altogether and just make it a box with no lid. Any item that doesn't fit in the pick bins, for example a big heavy jacket, actually goes in this cupboard at the start of the system before the pick bin numbers begin. These also have a sticker on the coat hanger, and it's also worth noting that I don't reuse the same SKU code at any time. So a jacket doesn't share a number with anything in the system. Every new item added to the system gets a new unique SKU, meaning the 8,000 items in my store each have a unique SKU code. So I'll do a full walkthrough for you now. This is where the SKU starts and they ascend in number. On the shelves, left to right, and then top to bottom, and then onto the next shelf. The shelving units then continue in a clockwise direction. So with everything I say in this video, I recommend you take everything I say with a grain of salt and find out what works best for you. I hope me sharing how I do things in this video can give you some ideas on what you want to do. It's by no means the best way that I think everybody should do it. I'm simply just sharing what has worked for me. And then this is where the storage system currently ends. So next I'm listing the item online. In the photos we have our sticker with our size tag, and we're using that number and putting that down here also in the SKU field, as you can see. Since I know when I added the item, I can narrow it down to where it's stored. Having these 3 points of redundancy: first, the SKU field with the number in it; second, the photo of the sticker number; and 3, we also have the date of when the listing went up. We can roughly guess when our item was added. For example, if we did 100 to 200 back in January and 200 to 300 in February, we would be able to roughly guess where the item was based on the number. Now when something sells, I check the sticker number to find it. Upon finding the item, I can also confirm the size, brand, and color. This double checks that the customer gets exactly what they ordered. After selling items, some of the bins get half empty. Every 2 months, I consolidate the items, making room for new ones. By compacting the items I already have, I free up empty pick bins, which I can then fill with more items. This keeps the system efficient, saves space, and ensures that my inventory stays organized. With 8,000 items, this consolidation takes me about 4 hours, but it means I don't need a big warehouse and my system can keep growing. When it comes to the consolidation, you're probably not going to see number 1 next to 1,000. Unless, of course, every single item between those two numbers has already sold. That is the only time you would see 1 next to 1,000. So after consolidation, I end up with a bunch of empty pick bins, and the entire system is squeezed back on the shelves themselves. So what ends up happening is I end up with a bunch of free shelves as well. I know when it's time to consolidate the inventory when I'm running out of space. So that might be 4, 6, 8 weeks, at which point all my shelves are full. And I know throughout that period that items have been selling through, which means I know that some of my pick bins are probably empty and can be compacted. To give you an idea of what this sell-through actually looks like within the system, here are some pick bins that are half empty. So once all of these end shelves are full of pick bins and I can walk around and also see a few half full pick bins like this, that is when I know it's time to consolidate. So when I first started out, I was actually just storing everything in my bedroom. Nothing was organized. I just kind of could look at something and know that was what I needed to send off. I didn't have any organization systems. I would just literally have a pile of stuff, and when something sold, I would go look through that pile of stuff. When I realized I needed more organization, I moved on to the tub system, at which point I started using letters. And then whenever I needed an item, I knew it was in tub A, B, or C. The problem I noticed with the tub system was actually the amount of time I spent digging through tubs because it wasn't organized. Add that to the fact that you're constantly opening lids, and then I also had tubs breaking. It just wasn't ideal for me. My third evolution was actually still with tubs, but I was individually wrapping the items and then using wooden pegs, which I had written a code on. This enabled me to continue to reuse those wooden pegs on the items and constantly go back and refill the same spot. The issue I had with this was if I had entered the SKU wrong, I would essentially lose the item and not know where it is. Which then leads us now to the version that I've just shown you, which is just a simple number system. If somebody can count 1 to 10,000, then they understand how my system works. I tell them they need to go find number 100. They know it's roughly at the start of the system. I'm still actually using some tubs for hats, but these aren't too bad because they're not clothing items that I have to dig through. Also, when I do a set of photos for hats, I'm taking a picture of the front of the tub here, and then that applies to the entire lot of hats I photographed on that day. So it's 1 SKU code for 1 lot of hats. This is the only time in my system where any items share a SKU code. The good thing about this inventory system as well is that it has passed the family check. So what's the family check? Family check for me was just asking my family members to go and find an item. And because the system is so simple and it's just numbers, as long as somebody can count, they can go find the item. So that's how I keep track of over 8,000 unique items for my online store. If you've got any questions, please feel free to ask away. Otherwise, I'm Kiddo, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.